Okay, we're now recording. Um, all right, the questions were on final grades and on emails. Okay. Yesterday, I had a fair amount of time to deal with emails and Blackboard and those kinds of things. And I also did quite a bit of grading. And but I didn't get all the way through my emails. We had a department meeting on Friday, and that took a lot longer than what I intended. So there went a bunch of my office hours then. It took, I think, awfully close to 2 hours to get that meeting over with, and then some preparation beforehand. So I lost some time there. And then I didn't have as much time over the weekend as I had hoped to have, but I did have some. So I got quite a few things graded, quite a few things off the emails printed, but I didn't get back. It seemed like every time I made headway on emails, more would show up. So I had them coming in faster than I could get them off. So if I didn't get to your, sorry about that. I will try. I think today I will have a decent patch of time to start getting emails. But every time I get into emails, of course, I find other emails that are demanding I do this, that, and the other thing. And then I've got, the other 6 courses I'm teaching this term that are people are sending me things too. So I will get caught up in time. And today I think will be a good opportunity for me to get caught up a lot. Okay, so if I haven't gotten to you yet, I will. If you're wondering if your email went through, the odds are it did. But if you don't see anything after a while, pop me another one and just say, have you checked them or something like that, and that will prompt me to go in and do a search for yours just to see if I may have missed them somehow. So that might be a good thing to do. Now, about the grades. I've been grading as I've gone. I don't have everything in Blackboard yet, but I have a lot of it in Blackboard. And those I've printed recently, like since I had graded everything that this class had turned in, and last night I printed off this many more. Okay, so I've got, they just keep coming. Okay, but keep them coming. That's what it's all about. But a lot of people are putting off submitting labs and tests and stuff till right now, the last week, and boy, it gets hard keeping that up. So I will do the best I can, but it's a lot of people are turning in stuff from well back there. Okay, like research papers have been out there for a while, but so have I've graded some. Let's see if I can remember. I know I've graded some lab 3s, some test 3s, stuff from way back in the term. So lab 3s are sort of understandable because they were the moon lab, but there's been quite a few things from well back there that I've been grading, plus all the more recent stuff. So here's what we're going to do today. This will, I hope, answer part of your question. We're going to do the last lab. We finished chapter 24 last time. I've got it up here. I've also got the lab up here, and we'll go over the lab. I imagine you'll probably, oops, here comes Diana. Let me get her in here. Okay. Well, I can't get my pen to click. Okay, there's Diana. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not quite in double digits yet, but we're getting closer. Yeah, we're getting closer.
Hey, Mr. Fowler.
Yes.
For that lab, you're able to write on it, but I think we have like a different one.
Okay. Yeah, this is a WordPerfect version, but the other is the same. It's just a PDF version.
Do you not have a copy that we can type on? Did you only send us one that we can print?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, what was that? You can type on PDF?
We cannot type.
You cannot, right. I can't either. So no, this is all I've got. I've got WordPerfect and PDF. I just took a picture of the WordPerfect. Unless you have WordPerfect on your computer, then I could do that one. But no, I don't have this in Word yet. Word just scrambles things so badly, and this was quite a bit of stuff on it, so I just did a PDF on this one. Sorry about that, but yeah, no, all I've got is I posted the PDF because I figured everybody could get that. WordPerfect, I figured very few of you could get that, if anybody. So I have the WordPerfect up here, but it's I don't have a Word version. I really, in some of my other classes, especially the math classes, a lot of them can't even read all the things on Word because I have equations and things like that on it, and Word just drives me nuts. They come out with new versions and they make them incompatible with previous versions. So that's one reason I quit retyping. Well, I ran out of time too, but some things, I don't think there'll be any equations on this one, but some things just didn't translate well. So no, this is all I've got. Okay, and it would take me quite a while to type this over in Word, and to get it to convert to Word is yet another huge headache, because Word, I think, almost intentionally makes it so they don't want you using anything else but Word, and they don't even want you using old versions of Word. So they almost make it themselves obsolete, because they've got a monopoly and they can do that. So sorry, that's all I've got. Okay, so let's go back to this. Here's the lab for today. This is all of it, but just the first page, part of the first page of it. We'll be doing the lab today. That's all we've got to do. I'll answer any questions you have in chapter 24 and any of the other chapters you have. Okay? And we'll be doing the lab today. You may choose to do that on your own. You may choose to do it in groups. You may choose to do it with me online. Your choice, because we got basically all day. We finish all the lecture, so we're just doing the lab today. As soon as I check out today, as y'all say, okay, we don't need you anymore, then I'll post the test for chapter 24. Okay? And then sometime after that, I'll go on and post the final exam for the course. Now the test, I can't remember if that's going to be, I think that's probably also going to be PDF. I can't remember for sure because it was in a weird format coming off the test bank, and I think I had to do just that in PDF. And then the final exam, again, I did when we're in class, I just make copies and you do them. Okay, now that we're doing virtual, I can't do that anymore, so my copies are either those that I do have in Word format, I have them that way, but those I don't, I have to do in PDF. So I think the final exam is also in PDF, so you probably won't be able to type on that either. Sorry about that. But some people have just been typing in answers in a Word document and sending to me. That's fine too. Okay? Be sure you got your numbers right. Okay? Question number with the right answer. Okay. So, any other questions, issues, concerns? Did I answer whatever questions you were asking about the finals and stuff? So I'll be posting after class today the chapter 24 test, and then I'll also post sometime after that the final exam. Okay? Once I get everything in for all of you, or at some point when I have some time to do it, I will then start updating. Well, I've got to grade. Oops, here comes Labrina Riles. Okay. And had a weird thing. So Labrina is here. All right. And so that should get me up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We do have double digits now. Okay. And Brianna, I know your mic is on. I don't know if that's you or if it's Labrina, but somebody's mic is on pretty loud. Okay. So after I get everything printed and everything graded, then I'll get the post on Blackboard. Like I said, I've posted some things on Blackboard already, but not everything. Then I'll have time to post on Blackboard. Once I get it all on Blackboard, then you'll see the final grades. And here's approximately how it will look. I put the labs first, 9 labs, and then a lab average. That should be something fairly close to 25, hopefully. Okay. Then I've got your research paper, and then your 9 tests. Okay. And then the final exam will go after the test 9, and then I'll have, I can't remember if I have a column called test average or not. It's not there yet. I can't remember how I did it. But what I'll do, I'll take 75% of your test average, add that to the lab average, and that'll give you your final score. So your final score will be out there as a numerical value, and that will be there. Now, let me also say this. It did come up with one student had sent me a message, and I responded to it. You are fairly fortunate, because if you don't get everything in, you still have the rest of this term to get it then. Okay. Now, students from my other classes, including the second mini-term physical science, if some of you are taking that, I think you are, at the end of that term, you really need to get everything in pretty soon, because I'll be here the month of January, but I'm retiring the first day in February. So I imagine my rights to the all the things, you know, banner and all that kind of stuff is probably going to disappear. So you got to get me for the rest of my courses. This one, you have these basically 2 months or more, plus the month of December, plus the month of January. So you have lots of time to clear it incomplete. The other classes will not have that much time. So if you can't get everything into me, you can take it incomplete, and then when you get the stuff to me, I'll change your grades. Okay? So I don't want you to put that off to that. Get me everything you can now, so I can get the grades in as early as possible. All right. Now, any other questions, issues, concerns, problems, anything, physical science or otherwise? All right. What you see in front of you here is the first page in today's lab. Okay? Last lab we're going to do. I know that brings tears to your eyes. You won't have many more of these to go. Now, in your text, if you have your text open, I hope you can have one, but if you're not, if and when you get to the text, every one of these things is taken out of the text. Okay? And I also have the PowerPoints open, and I can show you the PowerPoints if you don't have a textbook handy. However, they're far harder to read, some of these, on PowerPoints than they are in your text. Okay? So, how do y'all want to work this? Basically, this lab is on you. It's not anything I have to link you into or anything else. Here's the lab. You got hopefully the book. You've got your YouTube videos you can go to and hear me talk about all this stuff. If you got your books, you can use those. If you have the, and by the way, I put out there on Blackboard, I put chapter 24 PowerPoints again, so you can pull them up there if you want to use them there. I also, you have the YouTube videos, PowerPoints, and I can show you anything you want to on the PowerPoints here, and if you got your books. That should be plenty of opportunity to get this lab done. Now I can stay with you as long as you need me here. If you have any questions, go for it. Are there any questions so far? Okay. Do most of you have books or not? I never have been able to figure that one out. Did I hear a not?
I don't have a book.
Okay. So that does make it tough. Okay. Do you want me to open the PowerPoint so you can get as much as you can of this off your PowerPoints?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you'll have to, I can't have both the PowerPoints and the PowerPoints and the lab open. So the first question here, name the 3 major watersheds in the continental U.S. So let me go to, I think we've actually lost some people here. Okay. Here's and you can access the PowerPoints as well. Like I said, they're out there under both last week and this week, week 7 and week 8, under instructional materials. Okay, in both of those places you'll find the very top thing of the PowerPoints. Okay.
I don't know if this is right, but would it be Great Basin and Eastern?
Okay. Hold on just a minute. Let me show you where it is in the book. Okay. The first question. Oops, there it was. Not that easy to read, much easier to read out of the book, but there it is. These are the 3 biggest, how does it say that? 3 major watersheds in continental U.S. Of course there's more, but these are the 3 big ones. And we talked about this pretty extensively in class. As you see, you can't carve any area as big as these 3 areas out in any other part of what's left over white. Many more little watersheds out there, and many small watersheds that make up these big watersheds, but these are the big 3. Okay, when you're through with this, let me know. Now, especially if you're watching this on a phone, then the print is even smaller. So can everyone read it? If you can't read it, I can read it to you, but and it's also in the text, I believe. I know it's in the book, but I think it's written in the text as well.
I have it put up on my computer, but I still can't read it.
You can't read it. Now, okay, what do you have pulled up? What I'm doing right now, the Zoom, or do you have the actual PowerPoint?
I have the PowerPoint on my second computer.
Okay. And does it look just like this one?
Yes, sir.
And you can't read those 3 watersheds. You have this slide up there, is that right?
Yeah, hold on. I didn't put it in present. Let me see if that makes it better.
I have a question.
Okay.
What is the latest, like the absolute latest time you can turn in your research review?
Okay. Today is when it's
Like
due.
before it's kind of late.
Okay. Today is when it's due. After today, you start losing points.
Okay.
Okay. But today, you get just your score. Okay. Anything turned in before today, up to the day in October, you just get your score. Anything, if you turn it in September, you get 1 bonus points. In August, you get 2. But anything up to today. Now, starting tomorrow, you start losing points. So get them in as soon as you can.
How many points per day?
Well, it's not going to be many, but you know, it's not going to hurt you too bad. But it's just a little bit of a carrot to get you to to get your papers in, or a stick, whichever you want it to. Okay. All right. Has everybody got question 1 done? Were you able to see it and read it? If you can't, we can have someone read it to you. Okay. I'll leave it up here as long as you want me to, but I don't want to just be dragging it out too long. Okay. Don't need it there longer?
I think everybody's good.
Okay. All right. How about number 2? Everybody know that one already, or do I need to show you something from the text on that one? Anybody? Okay. I'm hearing nothing. Is it that you don't need me, or you want me to do something else? What?
I'm typing the answers.
Oh, I see. Okay. Is anyone already jumped to question 2 while you're waiting for this one? While others are doing this one. Here's what I want to point out on number 2. Notice it says continents, not countries, continents. Now there's 2 sort of continents that are also sort of countries. One is not really, the other is. Australia is considered a continent, but it's the only country in that continent. Okay? And Antarctica is usually considered a continent. It's not really even a country because it's not got any government or anything else. So, but when they say continents, I mean continents, not countries, continents. But in number 3, notice it says country. Okay. And number 2 does ask for 2 continents that border each of the oceans. Number 3 only wants 1 country that borders each of the seas. Okay. And the rest of them is the ocean in which that current exists, the ridge exists, or the trenches exist. So we're going to be doing those 3 oceans that you do in number 2 are going to show up again in 4, 5, and 6. Lots of places. So everyone, some people still want me to stay on this slide or move to another one.
So what were the oceans, Mr. Charles? I apologize. I had to step away for a minute.
Okay. All right. So has everybody got the watersheds down? Does anyone need this slide left up here any longer? Okay, I'm not hearing anything, so I'm going to move on to here are your oceans. Okay, the 3 big oceans. Okay, now they don't label the continents. I'm hoping you know enough of the continents to know which one border each ocean. If you have any doubt, ask. I'll be glad to try to answer that. Okay, I've got someone calling me from the campus. They quit. Okay, so too bad. Okay. There's listed in pretty good size type the 3 oceans. And then on the globe that they show there, you can see the continents that border them, but they don't have them labeled. And if you don't know what the continents' names are, I will be glad to try to answer that, or you can work with each other and answer it. And some of the answers may be the same for, you might have the same continent bordering 2 different oceans, so that's perfectly okay. Okay. Whoever just asked me, can you read this slide well enough to get the oceans? And secondly, are there any questions about what continents are what? Okay. And again, I'll let you tell me when you want to move on, if you want to move on to a next question. Now, I'll admit, question 3, you cannot tell the countries from this map. Just like the continents aren't labeled, the countries aren't. So you might need to go to another resource and get a map that actually shows the names of the countries that border these seas, because this same slide has those seas on it. Notice there are 8 major seas, and on this slide I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seas listed, but over here they list some more, 2 more seas that are not listed by name on that one. So on this slide there's a total of 10 seas. Now they may not call themselves sea, okay, they may go by different names, but you see over here, here's one that doesn't have sea in its name, but it is a sea, okay, an SEAC. So you've got at least 10 to choose from, and then you identify a country, just one country that borders that sea. And I can easily imagine that these up in here might be difficult for you to identify, but you can go to an outside source and get that. Okay. Now, there are plenty of other seas that you may be familiar with. If anyone was around during the Vietnam era, you know what this sea in here is called. Okay, because that's where a lot of stuff went on there. Okay, and there's one up here that is a pretty famous sea that they didn't list. There's one in here is a very famous sea they didn't list. So if you know any of these others, that would be perfectly fine. Here, like the one down here, this is actually called a sea, but it is a sea. If anyone knows what that is, you'll know that. Okay. Now these down here are lakes. Don't confuse the lakes with the seas. That is not called a sea, but it is classified as a sea. Okay. So there's many others like that. So if you go to another map or something and find other seas, you can put those too. But this one has 10. There's 3 written over there. Only one of those is labeled here. And then there's another 8. You know, that 1 plus 7 others are labeled here. Maybe even more. The ones I saw right off the top, I saw at least 8. Now, if you need to know countries, this one you might have to go to another source. Not in your book. I don't think that your book has that. But you have plenty of experience in going to finding that kind of information on the internet or your phones or wherever you look. Maps, atlases, pretty easy to find. If you have any questions, I'll try to help you with them. So this is questions 2 and 3. The continents aren't named and the countries aren't named, but the seas, the oceans are named and the seas are named on this one slide. Any questions? When you're through with 2 and 3, let me know and we'll move on to another one. See, I know there's search engines out there that you can go to and say, what countries border blank sea? You know, you can do that. I didn't think about that, but here's some more that are probably pretty familiar with you. This one right here is a nice biblical sea. Okay, it's not listed on this map, but it's here. This is actually not called a sea, but it is one. This is also called the Gulf, and it has a name. Okay, and it was in the news quite a bit not that many years ago. Okay, there's another one in here called the Bay that is actually a sea. There's actually, for those who know about it, this little finger that goes up here past Italy here, that has a name. That is a sea. Okay, the one around Greece has a name, and some of you may be familiar with that. So there's lots more seas here than what you see. Okay, any of those will count as long as they're legitimate. Okay, if I've never heard of it and can't find it, I can know when you're making something up. So there's plenty here to choose from. All right. So let me know when you've got 2 and 3 finished and you want to move on. Anybody? Can y'all read this print well enough? I know you probably should be able to read this, but can you read that print well enough? If you have any doubt, ask and I'll read it for you. If you don't know continents or you don't know countries, ask and I'll try to answer those questions as well. And again, this is a lab, so you can work with one another. So I don't know if you want to chat, if you want to email, if you want to do anything else, you're certainly welcome to do that. And today, since it's more relaxed, I can probably read some of the chats too and try to answer some questions if you got them that way. But I'll be glad for you to speak up. And as you know, there's only how many of you here right now? 7 of you present. That means there's at least that many more who are not here. So they may be listening to this YouTube video, and if y'all don't ask questions, they can't get answers to those questions. So feel free to ask questions. And when you want me to move to the next, to question number 4, I'll be glad to do that. And if you have your books, most of this is in there. The continents and the countries are not in the book either, so that's not hurting you. You're going to have to find those elsewhere. But they're easy to find. Y'all want me to stay on this slide a while longer or move on?
It doesn't matter. The other questions take a while, so that's why we're not answering.
Okay, you mean these questions take a while, 2 and 3?
Yeah, it's just a lot of typing.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, I don't mean to.
I just finished it.
Okay, I don't want to interrupt you. What I'd like to hear, if anyone wants to keep this slide up here longer, I'll be glad to do that. But if no one wants to keep it up longer, I see no reason just to sit here and look at something you got all the information from. Does anyone want it any longer? Okay. I kind of take that to be a no. So if you do want it longer, please say something, else I won't be able to know that you want it longer. Okay. Number 4 is at the bottom of the first page, top of the second page. Okay, you want me to go on to the slide that shows that? Yay or nay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you have these slides on the YouTube videos, you have them on the PowerPoints. They're all over. Okay, there's ocean currents, that's what we're getting toward. Not quite there. Ah, there we go. Now, you'll have to remember the ocean names from the previous slide, but here are the currents. And there's way more than 10 here. I just stopped at 10. Now you may find 2 exactly the same name currents in 2 different oceans. Okay, and that's fine. You can list them twice, but then list the different ocean they're in. Or you can pick others. Now, not all of them have currents in their name. One of the most famous ones does not even call itself a current, but it is one we talked about in class. And then there's a few listed as counter. And then there's a few listed as drifts. Okay, so you name. Now remember, it's asking for ocean, and remember this text only identified 3 oceans, so those should be the names that you list. I've had students in past terms give me some seas rather than oceans, but they called them oceans. No, remember, this book names only 3 major oceans, and the rest of them are seas, so don't confuse those. And just one ocean with which each current is associated. Now, if you can't read this on your phone or something like that, I can understand that. This is small print on the PowerPoint, so it would be even smaller on your phone. So if you need something clarified, read to you, let me know.
Yeah, I do.
Okay?
So I'm looking this up and to see what ocean this is in. And it's saying it's in the fourth one.
In the fourth one.
This year they added a fourth.
Added a fourth what?
Ocean.
What ocean is that?
Southern Ocean. Or, yeah.
Okay.
This is the text. I'll put it in chat.
Okay, well, there are things called the South Atlantic and the South Pacific, and those that may be what they're referring to as Southern, but basically, are you talking about this one here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can pick this ocean, or that ocean. Any one of those will be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. But, oh, here's Angelita. I thought she was already here. She may have had to bounce out for a minute and bounce back in. Okay, Angelita, we're now on question 4, which is the bottom part of page 1, top part of page 2.
Thank you.
All right. Did you need me to go back to the seas or the oceans? I can go back. You don't? Okay. Now, does anyone have any trouble actually reading these currents? Because, like I said, this is small type on a computer screen. I can't even imagine what it looks like on a telephone screen. So if you need any help, if we can figure out which one you're talking about, just like we did on that last one, we can do that. And some of the print is on top of boundary lines for countries or continents or whatever, and sometimes it's hard to read that way. Even on this screen it is, and I can't imagine that it would be easier on a phone. But if you're in your book, that first one that we were talking about, the one with the watersheds, that was on page 610. The one about the oceans and the seas, that was 618. Far easier read there than it is on the PowerPoint. And this one with the currents, this is page 625. Or if you have the little books, that's 24-20. I can give you the other pages from the little book if you need those. When you do get through, you can say done or whatever, and if someone says that and you still want more time, all you have to say is more time. So let me know, done or more time. And anytime someone says done, if anyone else needs more time, spit it on out there and say more time, okay? That way I'll know, because I don't mind leaving it up here, but I don't want to leave it here if everybody's through and you're sitting waiting for me to do something, because I can't tell. Number 4 is asking for 10 ocean currents with an ocean, one ocean, in which that current is associated. If I were doing the typing, it would take me a very long time because I'm not a very fast typist. We've got just 8 people here, though we've had as many as 10 people here, so we've lost 2. And it may be those 2 people had books, and it's going to be easy for them to get it done at their own pace. I need to start hearing some either dones or more times. Anyone more time? Nobody needs more time? Okay, speak up now. Don't be ashamed. Okay, so that was question 4. Questions 5 and 6, I think, both come off the same slide. And this will be just a couple pages over, page 627 in the text, or 24-22. And I can't get it to advance. Ah, there we go. And again, very small print. Okay, just point out to you, the ridges are the light blue, the aquamarine blue, and the dark blue or purplish, those are your trenches. And again, list the ridge and the ocean in which it's located, and then the trenches and the oceans in which each of those trenches is located. And if you have trouble reading it, ask.
Mr. Flowers.
Yes.
I was gonna say, you think you can show me the ridges? Like, tell them to me, cause
Okay. Can you? Okay. Do you see? I'm trying to let this thing go down. Yeah. You see, the ridges are this light blue. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Those are the ridges. So find the name. There's one.
Is that mid?
Atlantic. Okay. That's the one we talked about in class a lot. Okay. Okay. Another one's over here.
That's mid-Pacific.
Right. And over here is a...
Yeah, I see them now.
Okay. That's what they are. So the bright... is that a teal, you ladies who know your colors better than I do? Is that what you would call that? Those ridges. The trenches are that dark bluish purple.
What color were you referring to again?
All right. The ridges, if you see down here, the ridges are this sort of bright color down here at the bottom. There's one, there's one, there's one. Some of these don't have names associated with them. You just have to figure out what they are. And then the dark blue are the trenches. That would be these, those, that. So those are the trenches. You have some here and here and here and there. Here's a couple over here. Okay. Do you see?
Yes, I had to zoom in. I'm on my phone.
Okay, I understand that. So if you need help reading those, because sometimes when you zoom in, it gets so blurry you can't read it. Zoom out and it gets too small, you can't read it. So it was sort of like those geologic maps, topographic maps that we did of Red Mountain. You know, zoom in too much, I couldn't make out the numbers, zoom out too far, and I couldn't even see the numbers, or they would be too small to see. So I know there's a lot of typing here too, because it's 4 ridges and 12 trenches, and then the oceans in which they're each associated. Okay, so when you get through with those, let me know done or more time. If you hear someone say done and you're not done, say more time. All right, Amari is coming in. Let me get Amari here. Okay. Okay, Amari, can you hear me yet?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. The folks are doing the lab. I'm just here for technical support if you need any help. Did you see where the lab was located on Blackboard?
Yes.
Okay, so you got the lab, And what I'm showing on the slides are the slides where the information to answer the questions for the lab are located. And the one that you see on the screen now, if you can see that, answers on the second page of the lab questions 5 and 6. The bright blue, teal, I don't know what color line you call that, those are your ridges. That would be that ridge, that ridge. Some of these aren't named, but most of them are. Okay, enough are named that you can pick those out. Those are the ridges. The darker blue or purplish kind of lines, those are your trenches, and there's a whole bunch of those, usually much smaller, but they're the trenches that you see here scattered throughout the oceans. What you do is list 4 of the ridges and the ocean in which it's located. Now, they don't list the oceans here. The rest of you, can I go back a few slides for Amari? That be okay? Okay. All right. I'm going to be reading page numbers and slides at the same time. So I'm going to go back. Well, I thought I was going to go back. This strange system here. Okay, if you have the slides, they're out there on Blackboard as well. The PowerPoint slides, actually last week and this week, maybe even the week before, I don't know. Okay, your first question on the lab is this slide here. Okay, name the 3 major watersheds. Now in the book, that's on page 610 if you have the big book, on page 24-5 if you have the smaller book. Okay. Question number 2, a few slides over from there. There we go. This is question number 2. It lists the 3 oceans, and it lists them over here, okay, in 2 places. It lists them on the map, it lists them on the text. And then they mention some of the seas. They named 3 seas down here. Only one of those is listed on here, but you also have several other seas listed on the map. Now, what the maps don't show are the names of the continents or the names of the countries. This is for questions 2 and 3. Remember, continents are the big thing. There's only 7 or 8 continents, something like that. Whereas countries, there's hundreds of them. So you'll have to use, if you don't know what these continents are, you're probably going to need to get an atlas or ask on Google or wherever else you're going to, where you get your information, what continents border this ocean or that ocean, what country borders this sea or that sea. Okay, so you may have to go to an outside source and get names of countries. Continents for number 2, 2 continents for each ocean, and 1 country for each sea in number 3. 3 oceans, 8 seas, and you have at least 10 seas somewhere on this slide. 3 are mentioned in the text, and at least 8 are mentioned on the map. But you'll have to get this. And again, that map is on page 618 in the text, or if you have the little books, 24-13. Okay, so that's questions 2 and 3. All right, question 4. Now remember what these oceans are, because the next 2 questions are going to, or 3 questions, are going to ask for oceans, and the same globe is going to show, but it's not going to list the oceans anymore. So you have to remember which is which. So for number 4, say, and 4 is the bottom of the first page, top of the second page of your lab, and this would be located here. On this slide, which is on page 625, much easier to read in the book than it is on the slide, and the big book, or 24-20 if you have the smaller book. And again, they list the currents on the map, but you have to remember which ocean these three oceans are. Now I'm pointing 4 different places, but this ocean over here is the same as the one over here. They just split it, not quite down the middle, but they split it. Okay, so that's where you find the 10 ocean currents. More are listed, but at least 10 ocean currents, and the ocean in which each is associated. And then the last 2 questions, 5 and 6, are located, oops, went too far, on that slide, and this is just a couple pages over, page 627 in your big book, or 24-22 in the little book. Okay, and here the question number 5 is the ridges. The ridges are given by this sort of light bright blue line here. Those are the ridges you see there and there. Only about 4 of them are named, maybe more than 4. Those are the bright blue lines. The darker blue, almost purplish lines, those are the trenches, and those are question number 6. And there's lots of trenches. They're fairly small in general, and you can pick those out. In every one of the oceans, you'll find at least one, and probably more than one, trench listed. The Atlantic may only have one. I only see one right now, but the Indian has maybe only one too. Okay, whoops, went too far. All right, now, if any of you, Amari or anyone else, needs me to go back to one of the earlier slides, I can do that. But I want you to let me know, and here are the 2 options. When you're done, you can let me know that, and if someone says done but you're not, say not yet, or still working, or something like that, and then I'll leave it up there longer. Okay, and you can do that for any one of the, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 different slides in the book, 4 different pages. Let me know which one you want to see, and I'll do that. And if you need help with naming continents, I'll help you name continents. If you need help with naming countries, I can do some countries, but others I'll probably have to refer you, and you find out those country names. The continents are easy. Some of the countries are easy.
Mr. Fowler.
Yes.
So I'm looking on Blackboard, and Chapter 24 test, is that test 8, or is that test
No. I haven't posted 24 tests yet. It will be test 9. I'll probably call it Chapter 24 test, but the test 8 was Chapter 23, weather and climate.
I was freaking out. It's like, oh crap, did I miss one?
No, I haven't posted. I was going to wait till after lab today to post it. If you're ready now, I can go on and post it now, but I'll have to take down what people are looking at. But if no one needs what's on the screen now, I can go on and take it down and post it. So again, either done or not ready, or not yet, or still working, or something like that.
I'm done.
Okay. Did I hear any not yet's or still working?
I'm done.
Done. So far I'm not hearing any. Keep it up there. Is that right? Okay. If that's the case, then what I'll do, first I'm going to leave this out, but you probably won't see it as soon as I change something. What I'm going to do is change, yeah, it'll definitely come down. let me go to all right. Here's us, physical science. You can't see this. I'm going to go down here to weekly assignments. Now y'all are in the way, so I'm going to have to scoot you out of the way. You can't tell I'm doing it, but I did. And I've got to go down to week 8. Once I get on week 8, then I'll open it up. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to bring this up. New share here. Google content. Okay. Okay, y'all can see that there's week 8. Here under instructional materials, if you click on this, the second tab under week 8, there you'll see there's the PowerPoint. So you can go there, and to open these, you go to the 3 dots here. When you click on there, it says download original file. Now I'm not going to do that. I have it up there already, but you can do that and download that. Okay, if you want to see the YouTube videos, this points you back to week 1. Same place in week 1 that you're now in week 8 under recorded lectures. There where you'll find the link to, now is that somebody else coming in? I don't think so. Okay, that's where you'll find the link to the YouTube video playlist. Okay, and in that playlist you can either go to the last summer and look at those videos, or this term and look at the ones. The ones for this term are at the bottom. For last term, they're further toward the top. Okay, your handouts, research paper handouts, someone was asking about this earlier. You go to week 1, same place that says handouts under week 1. There you'll find the research paper instructions written, or you can go to the YouTube videos that you'll get under week 1 for the link for that. Go there and you'll go under last term's syllabus. Okay, now here's the lab that I was just showing. It's a PDF. And oh, and by the way, I'm glad you brought me here. Just over the weekend, the library came out with some library, I think it's series in physical science. So they have a whole bunch of resources here. If some of you are still working on a paper and you want to use those resources, you can click on the 3 dots here and it says download the original file. It's just a flyer, okay, but it might give you some information you'll need. But I just got it last weekend, this past weekend, so I just posted it for this week. Okay, now let's close that up. I wanted to show you that. And when you get down here, there it says Chapter 24 test. When I click on that, okay, I can't put the test here. Now y'all can put them, several of you have been submitting them through this. I can't put them here because they didn't put a little plus sign here for me to use. So what I'm going to do, when I do it, I can't put it there, but what I'm going to do is get out of this, but that's where you can post it if you want to. And what I'm going to do here is, this is awkward, but I can do it this way. Well, I'll just go to the top. Okay, I went too far. Not much too far. Okay, I'm going to close up those weekly assignments because they just take up so much room. All right, I went a little too far. Okay, you see on this main content page, I think other pages, you see these, 6 icons here. This is content, course content. That's where we are now. That's a calendar. I don't use that. Let's see, is this somebody coming in? I don't think so. Let me check. I think some people are doing some chats, so that's fine. If you want me in on it, just go on and say something, because I'm trying to show these other. That's your calendar. I don't know what that's under. This is discussions. Y'all haven't had any discussions yet, but if you want them, I can sure put them out there. Oh, here comes Sancho. Now, Sancho, I don't think has been here today yet. Yes, here's Sancho here. Okay, it's going to take a moment for me to go back and do. Okay, Sancho, can you hear me yet?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I'm right in the middle of this, and this is not bad for you to hear too, but then I'll tell you what we're doing in lab. I'm just identifying these icons I think I've done before. This is course content where we are now, course content. This is a calendar. I don't use that, but you may use it if you want to. Here's discussion groups if you want to do that. No one's used them so far. This is where the gradebook is located. Not everything I've graded is in the gradebook yet, and not everything that you've sent me I've even printed yet. And not everything that I printed I've gotten graded yet. So there's still a lot to go there. But this is the messages. So I'm going to click on messages so you can see that. And here's a bunch of messages from you guys, okay? And I'm going to scroll down till I found one from me. And you've seen these before because I know, okay, here we go. This is attached to Chapter 24 test, Test 8. So what I'll be doing, in fact, that's what I said I would do now. I'm going to attach this one. Now, I've got to move y'all out of the way. Amari, you're in the way again. So there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is add a message here. And I'm going to send it to all of you here. And I'll add it here. And I'll look for it here. Okay. Now, if you'll note here, it's going to be test 9. And you'll see I have 2 versions of test 9. Yes, this is the one I'll send. So this can be typed on, okay? This is a Word version. I was able to keep that. So this is your test 9, okay? All right, I'm going to save it. If I can get the cursor to show up. And then I'll type the message. Goodness gracious. Okay, so now James doesn't have to panic anymore, right? Okay, there's test 9. And it'll show up somewhere in this list. Now you won't see all these people because only you'll see yours and mine. But somewhere down here, it better be here. There it is. Nope, that's 23. I don't see it, folks. Let me keep looking. There it is. Okay. Attached is the Chapter 24 test. If you click on my name here, then it'll show up what I just sent you, and you can click on the 3 dots here, and it'll say download original file, and there it is. And that one is a Word file, so you can type on that if you choose. Okay? Now I'm not going to download it because I already have it. Okay, now. Boy, phones just keep ringing. Okay. Y'all are in the way again, so got to move you out of the way. I'm going to close this out and go to, see, where do I want to go now? Oh, let's get back to the screen share for Sancho. Okay. Now, Sancho, I don't know if you found it or not, but under Week 8 Instructional Materials Lab, you'll find this lab. Now, it's a PDF format. It's not a Word document. Sorry about that. I had it in WordPerfect, but WordPerfect is, especially Word, is very difficult to get WordPerfect to translate to Word very easily, so I just did a PDF of it. I did this last summer. I was running short of time, so I did it. Still don't have much time, so that's what it is. 2-page lab.
It's cool if we write it out, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Perfectly fine. Some people are typing it. That's fine. Some want to write it out. That's fine. Print this off, write it out, send it to me, whatever, however you can get it to me. Okay, so here, for those who you have been here for a while, you'll hear this again. Here's where you go to find the information you need for these. There are 6 questions. They have multiple parts to them. So I'm going to go to the PowerPoints. If you've got a book, I'll give you the page numbers. Okay? Do you have a book, Sancho?
No, sir, I don't have a book.
Okay. Well, then the PowerPoint may be the best you can get. Okay? Now, I'm going to back up some and start at the beginning. Whoa, I went too far. Oops, there it was. Okay. Question number 1, if you've got that in front of you now, name the 3 major watersheds in the continental U.S. Okay. This slide lists them. Now, if you're reading from a phone, I can understand that may be hard to see. But you said you didn't have a book, so I was going to give you the page number. But if you can share with somebody else, it's on page 610 or 24-5. Okay? 3 major watersheds in the U.S. And this is all going to be recorded on, it's being recorded now on, it'll be out there on YouTube video sometime later tonight. If you go back to last Thursday's class, you'll see it there too, and you'll hear me talk about it there when we did the class. I mentioned every one of these, and we talked about every one of them. If it wasn't Thursday, it was Tuesday or Thursday. I think we were both in chapter 24 then. Okay? All right. Now, so there's the answer to question 1. Question 2, you can find there. Okay, now at least part of question 2. Question 2 asks for the oceans. Here they're listed, easy to read. Here they're listed on the globe. Again, a little harder to read, but readable. Those are your 3 oceans. But it also asks for what continents border each of the oceans. And here you see 2 continents. Here you see same 2 continents. Here you see 2 continents. Here you see 3 continents. And here you see 2 more continents for this one. Okay? And that's the same as this one. It's the same ocean on either side here, because it's a big ocean they split down the middle or somewhere. Oh, here comes Denisha. So hold on. We're going to back up and go over all this with Denisha. Okay. Turning out to be a pretty good attended class. Not all getting here at the same time, but a good attended class. Okay, Denisha, can you hear me yet? Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Let me see. I saw some more chats coming in. Is there anything I need to know in those chats? I'll read them if I need to, but I was trying to get this stuff caught up for these people. Denisha, can you hear me yet? Okay, either you're still on mute or you can't hear me. I don't know which is the case. Okay, was that you, Denisha, or was that you, Sancho? Or it may have been Labrina.
I have a question.
Okay, what's your question?
I had wrote down 7 seas. I had Mediterranean, Caribbean, Bering.
Okay, wait. Yeah, let me get to. Oh, wait. Is this it? Yeah, this is the slide right here. Yeah. Okay. You got Mediterranean. You said there. That is which other?
Caribbean Sea.
Caribbean Sea is here. Do you know where the Caribbean Sea is? Okay, it's right in here. It's bounded by this part here and those islands above it. That's the Caribbean Sea. Okay, what was the next one?
I have Bering Sea.
There it is up there.
Okay. And I have Red Sea.
Red Sea, okay, that wasn't listed here, but there it is right there.
And Black Sea.
Black Sea, you got the colors right. Okay, there, Black Sea is there.
Caspian Sea.
Right next to it is the Caspian Sea, not real close, but is near it.
And Sargasso Sea. I'm not
Okay, right. Now that one's not listed on here. I think I know where that is, but where did you get that?
I was looking at a map online, and that's what had popped up, but I was still missing one sea. Oh, Arctic Sea.
Oh yeah, there's one. Here's a couple down here. You see these two? Okay, and there's one over here. Okay. All right. Right. All right. Now, do you need help with countries, or you got countries okay?
Oh, I got countries okay.
Okay. The one that I think I know the answer to, okay, Kendra's coming in, so let me get her here. So we've got some reviewing to do. Okay. All right. I think right now we're only missing Drew, Matthew. No, I got Matthew. Who is that? Jackson. Okay. And Avius. I think those are the only three people who haven't been here at some point. Some of the ones who were here, I don't we have anymore. But okay, for those who weren't here to hear it, if you did list these two C's down here, the only country that they border is not really a country, but you can list it as one, Antarctica. That's what's down here. Not really a country, more of a continent, but it's not a country because it doesn't have a government. There's only animals down there pretty much. There's some research stations and stuff, but it's not a organized country. But that would be what you would put for these two. Okay. Now, for those who have come in since we got started, okay, out there in Blackboard, Week 8, Instructional Materials, you will see there under Labs, so one of the last things listed, here is your lab for this chapter, Chapter 24, Laboratory 9. It's a 2-page lab. The first page has these 3 questions on it and the beginning of question 4, okay? And then the second page has more of question 4 and 5 and 6, okay? Now, some of you who came in, you let me know you didn't have a book, but I don't know if that's true for everybody. So what I've been doing is showing the PowerPoints, and you can see these PowerPoints. The PowerPoints are listed again in the instructional materials, both for this week and last week, Chapter 24 PowerPoints. You can hear me talk about it in last week's class. I can't remember if it was Tuesday or Thursday or both. I know it was Thursday. It may have been some of these were in Tuesday as well. So you can go there and hear me talk about the PowerPoints, see the PowerPoints and hear me talk about them. Or you could do that on the YouTube videos, which are also listed under, when you go to week 8 and it says recorded lessons, it'll say see YouTube videos. And oh, here comes Drew. Okay, we got Drew here now. All right, so right now we're just missing Jackson and Avius. Okay, only 2 I see that we're missing. Okay, so Drew, can you hear me yet?
Yeah,
Hey, all right, let me go back. If you go to Blackboard, week 8, under laboratory, you'll see this lab. Now it's a PDF form, sorry about that, so you can't type on it unless you have a typable PDF. I don't have that, my wife does, but some people do. This is what it looks like. 2 pages, only 6 questions, 1, 2, 3, and part of 4 is on the first page. The rest of 4, 5, and 6 are on the second page. Okay. Now, where do you get this information? If you've got a book, I'll give you page numbers. Okay. If you don't have the book, I'll show you on the PowerPoints. Now, the PowerPoints are listed both for last week, week 7, and for this week, week 8. Okay. They're out there. They're under instructional materials. Okay. Or you can go to the YouTube video that we recorded either last Tuesday or Thursday. I think we did part of chapter 24 on Tuesday and part on Thursday. So depending on which part of the chapter it's in, you may have to go to Tuesday, you may have to go to Thursday. Okay? I'll let you find that out. Okay? Now, the first question, let me go to the screen sharing for the PowerPoints. Okay? We'll go from current slide here. This isn't where we need to be now, but it's close to it. Let's back up. There we go. All right. The first question on the lab, question 1, says, name 3 major watersheds in the continental U.S. Okay, United States. This slide shows the 3 of them. Okay. Now, if you can't read it, I'll try to read it to you, okay? But you should be able probably to access that some way, okay? And if you've got your book, that's on page 610, or if you have the little book, 24-5. That's much easier to read from the book than it is on the PowerPoint, okay? So there's question 1. Question 2. 2 and 3 are on the same slide. We'll get to those in just a minute. Oh, I just went past it. And this, if you have the book, much easier to read in the book. And this is on page 618 or 24-13. Now, question number 2 asks for the 3 major oceans. They're listed right here. They're also listed here. Pacific is listed twice. These 2 are listed once each because they just split the globe and down the Pacific, so you see some of both. It asks for 2 continents that border each ocean. Continents are the big land masses. There's a continent, there's a continent. Here's a continent, there's a continent. Here's a continent, there's a continent. And if you wanted to, you could list Antarctica as a continent. It sometimes is listed that way. It really isn't. For sure, okay? But you can list 2 continents without even mentioning Antarctica. It's hard to write anyway. The 8 major seas, there are 3 listed here, even though this one doesn't say sea, it is a sea. That one's not listed here, but I think you know where it is, okay? And you have plenty of other seas that are listed here. Now for the seas, they say list a country, just one country, not continent, one country that borders that sea. Okay? Now, most of these, I think, are pretty obvious. A country, and these 2 down here, you can say Antarctica, even though it's not officially a country, but that's the only thing they do border. Okay? But the other seas that are listed here, pretty easy to pick out some country that borders that. If you need to, go to another map, go to an atlas, type in the question on Google or wherever that you get your information, and you can get what countries border these seas. Remember, those are country. You only need 1 for each sea. Okay? Again, that was on page 618 in your book, 24-13. Okay, for question number 4. Question number 4 is a few slides over. There. And this in your book is a few pages over. This is on page 625 or 24-20, depending on what book you have. Now this lists the currents that you're asked for here, but it doesn't give the oceans. That's what it's asking for. What ocean is it located? Well, some of them have the ocean in their name, but if you don't remember the oceans, go back to the previous slide and get the ocean names. This one and this one are the same. This and this are two different oceans, okay? So that's where you get number 4, 10 ocean currents, and list an ocean in which each is associated. Now you'll see two different oceans may have identically named currents, okay? So you can list the same name twice, but just with different ocean, okay? Or there's lots to choose from, okay? So that's question number 4. Bottom of page 1, top of page 5, okay? Question number 5. Go just a few slides over. There. And just a couple pages over. Page 627 or 24-22. Now the first asks for the ridges. The ridges are this bright sort of teal looking blue, okay? These are your ridges. Now some ridges are listed but not given names. You can find the names of at least 4 of them, okay? And which ocean are these ridges found, okay? Then number 6 lists 12 of the larger trenches on the Earth's ocean floor, and the trenches are in the dark blue or almost purple color here. The trenches, same slide, and you see there's a bunch of those listed. Bunch of them in this ocean, one in this ocean, one in that ocean. Okay? So that's where you find the answers to your questions. Okay? Now, what the statement is now is, I will be here as long as you want me here. I can go back and forth on the slides so you can try to read the slides as best you can. I understand if you do have a telephone and that's what you're looking at, it may be hard to read. So if you have trouble reading it, I'll help you read those answers, okay? But you'll have to direct me where to go and what answer you're looking for, okay? And you can write in your answers, you can type in answers, you can do however you want to get the answers to me. You can send them to me through email, you can send them to me through Blackboard Message, or you can send them to me under Week 8, Lab 9. There's a place there you can send them. Okay, I check all those places, not necessarily every day. I try to check them all every day, but a lot of days like today, I don't have enough day to check all of them. But you know, over time I will check every one of those places to see if I can find it. So what I want to know now are any of you, not just the ones who came in later, but especially you, but also any earlier. Do you want me to go back to an earlier slide? Do you want me to read something for you? Or do you have enough information you can go this on your own? Remember, a few things you might have to look up somewhere else, such as what are some of the countries that border some of these seas? I don't absolutely for certain know all those. I think I could give some really good guesses, but if I wanted to know for sure, I'd know where to go look it up, and you can do that. But the rest of it, besides continents and countries, all of it are on these slides in the text, wherever you're looking. So you let me know. Do you want me to stay here longer, or do you want me to shut it down and let you work independently? Now remember, you can also work in groups. This is a lab, and if you want to get with others and share notes, share sources where you got the information you needed, perfectly okay. So let me know. Does anyone want anything on the slideshow left, brought back up, posted again, or anything?
Hey, Mr. Charles, so this lab 8 right here?
This is lab 9. Lab 8, yeah, lab 8 was the one on global warming. You know, we looked at today, we looked at 1780, I think it was, or 1760 or something like that, and we looked at the ice ages. That was lab 8. This is lab 9. Now, if you think about it, we've had 8 weeks of class, but we've had 9 labs, 9 tests. So not every lab and test are located in 1 week. Now, if you go to the what I'm trying to say, the week breakdown, one of the weeks you'll find week 1 has lab 1 and test 1. Week 2 has lab 2 and test 2. Week 3 has lab 3 and test 3. I think even week 4 has lab 4 and test 4. But I believe it's somewhere around test week 5 it jumps to lab 6, because we did 2 labs and 2 tests in 1 week, and there were only 2 places to put them under the weekly stuff. These will be able to find on, everything will be on the grade sheet, what do they call it, grade book. Okay, everything will be there. It may not be there now, but it will be. And I'd probably not in great order now, because I've been adding some stuff under the weeks that I haven't straightened out under the grade book, but I'll get those straightened out. Okay, I've still got a lot of printing to do. I've got a lot of grading to do, both I've already printed and I haven't printed yet, and I've still got things to enter in Blackboard that I have already graded, and then certainly stuff that I haven't graded when I get that graded. So I've got plenty to work on there. I'm going to try to wrap everything up by Thursday. I just posted during class today your test 9. It's chapter 24 test. Now that'll show up in week 8 as a title, but you won't be able to find it there because they didn't allow me to put anything there. So where you go is where you've gone before, is under Blackboard messages, and you'll find it there. It says chapter 24 test 9. All right. Now, again, I'll be glad to stay online, stay where we are, as long as anybody needs anything. But if all of you have gotten everything you need, or you know where to go to get it, and you don't need me here talking to you anymore, distracting you, you can basically tell me to shut up and shut it down. I'll be glad to do that. So, but if you have any questions, I want to answer those before I do shut it down. Anybody, anything?
If we're done, can we leave?
Yeah, for sure. Does anyone need me to be here any longer? The sooner I get off here, the sooner I can get back to printing your stuff, grading your stuff, and putting it on a Blackboard. But I don't want to leave until everybody has what you need from me. Okay, today's the last day of class where we're doing anything as class, but we do have class technically on Thursday, and that's when I'll answer anything from anything. All your labs, all your tests, including the final exam. Okay, I will be posting the final exam sometime later. I've already posted the chapter 24 test, test 9, and sometime later I'll be posting the final exam. But that's when I'd like to have everything turned in by, and that's a great time to come and ask questions. We were going to have pizza, but I decided we probably couldn't. Okay, because we're virtual.
So when you say you're going to post our final exam, would that be able for us to be to get it done today, or
I'm going to try, oh, okay, you try to have it done by Thursday, okay? If you can, get everything done by Thursday, okay?
That's what I'm asking. Our final will be available for today.
I'm going to try to get it out there today. I've got a bunch of stuff that I have to take care of as soon as I get off, and then when I have a spare moment after I get off, I'm going to post the final. I think it's going to be in PDF format. I don't believe it's going to be in Word. I think it's in PDF. And it's going to be the easiest test you took, okay? Matching one page, okay? Oh, let me explain that since you asked. On the left-hand side, it's going to be definitions or descriptions. I don't remember, numbered 1 through 16, 1 through 20, something like that on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side are going to be numbered words or phrases, okay? And then after that, on the very right-hand column is going to be a blank, okay? The lettered descriptions or things on the left-hand side, those will be I said it wrong. Those will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay? The words or phrases are going to be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. That will go up to 16 or 20, however many it is. And then there's going to be a blank on the far right. So find the word. Say the word was climate, okay? I don't know if that's a word, but let's say it was. And then find the definition for climate on the left and match that letter with that word. So the letters go in that far right column. That's what you put on the final exam. The letter that matches the definition from the left to the word on the right. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll try to get that posted today. I have a little more time tomorrow because I have 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon of office hours. So if I can't get it done today, it will be posted tomorrow. But again, it's going to be a pretty easy test. Okay. Any other questions? Do you want me to stay here any longer? Okay. I think chat's coming up. Is there anything I need to respond to on the chat? I hit the wrong thing. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Yuck. Here was what I wanted to hit. No, nobody new coming in. All right. Want me to shut down, or do you want me to stay on a little longer?
I got one more question.
Okay, surely.
What day is the research paper due?
Technically due today. Today's the last day of class. Thursday is technically final exam day, but I'll go give it to you sooner. Just get it in by Thursday.
Okay.
And everything else in by Thursday too. Sooner if you can. Right.
Thank you.
Surely. Any other questions? Okay. Do you want me to shut it down? Anyone want me to stay on longer? I'll be glad to stay on as long as you need me. Come on, speak up if you need me. Yeah.
I'll see you Thursday.
All right. So that means go on and shut it down, folks? Okay. I'm going to stop the sharing. And this means you can't chat anymore, so hopefully you have phone numbers or other ways you can chat, emails, messages. You can do messages, you can do that. I see people are leaving, so I'm going to go on and stop the sharing. And y'all take care. We'll see you on Thursday. Okay? Bye-bye.